Hi everyone, it's Steve. I hope that you're well. In this video, we're going to take a look at BetBurger. BetBurger is another value betting slash sure betting service. And this video, I'm going to show you how to set BetBurger up in the best way, or possibly the best way, but just show you some of the settings for how to get things put together. If you want to take out a free trial with BetBurger, you can go to gogetburger.co.uk. That's gogetburger.co.uk. The link's on the screen. I'll put a link in the description below. If you use that link, you can get a free trial to try this out for free without having to spend any money. And why not? Free is good. Right. When you're here, what you would like to do is go to my account. And now I'm in my account. The first thing you're going to want to do is go to your Bookmakers and decide which ones you want to keep and which ones you don't. So there are 76 bookmakers you can see, and there are 283 clones. So there's a hell of a lot of clones in here. If we look in the tab in itself, there's a pre-match tab and there's also a live tab. So you will need to do this for each one. If you're using the pre-match module, then obviously this is pre-match. If you're doing the live betting one, then this is the one for that. But what the options that you do on here do not transfer to the other. So first things first, go through. You can see I've got 10bet there. Perhaps maybe you want to change that to 10bet.co.uk, etc. Or depending where you are, if the URL is different, you can change the URL in there. The currency by default, I think it was set to USD. I've changed this to GBP, which is more applicable for me. I can, if I want, put the amount that I'm looking to win at this particular bookmaker. So maybe you've got a restriction on that particular bookmaker. Maybe they've said you can only win a maximum of £10, £20 on that particular account, in which case you could say, okay, on any single bet. So you could say, okay, the maximum that I can look to win from a bet on this bookmaker is £20, and that will then form part of the calculations throughout the software. If you get charged any commission, you can do that there. And if you're looking to keep the odds between a certain range at a particular bookmaker, then once again you can do that using the minimum and max odds. I've not done that with any of mine, but those are the things that you can do. And let's move on. So you can see I've got sort of 10bet, 32 red, 88 explore, bet365. I've got bet365 reserve in there because I'm assuming that's just a reserve data feed that they have, because I know that Bet365 on a lot of software, whether it's sort of match betting stuff or any other software that's using Bet365 data, Bet365 are really sort of on the ball with their data feeds, and sometimes they can cut access. So I'm assuming they've got the Bet365 reserve as a backup for when or if something happens with the original feed. So you choose your bookmakers that you'd like to have for pre-match and live, and then down at the bottom make sure you click the save button. Also down at the bottom at both the pre-match and the live, you can choose your currency, what you want the stakes round into. So I have the stakes round into the nearest £5, and I have the total amount as £100. So that total amount of £100, that applies to the sure bets. So let's say that we've got a football match where you get the home, the draw and the away. The stakes would be obviously odds dependent. The stakes will come out, but in total, the total stakes going out of my, at the three different bookmakers, the total stakes would be no more than, there'd be a maximum of £100, and they'd all be rounded to the nearest 5. That means you get peaks and troughs. So sometimes you'll see that you might get sort of £20 profit on one bookmaker, but you might lose £1 on another if that result comes in, and you might only make £5 on another one. But that's absolutely fine. As long as they're getting value, I don't really care on that. On the value bets, the winning amount on the value bets, so we set an amount that we're betting to win. So it's dynamic staking there. So I'm betting to win £100 on each bet whilst I sort of test the service, and on that basis, if it was 10 to 1, the stake would be £10. If the odds are 100 to 1, the stake would be £1. Simple as that. So that just adjusts your recommended stake to try and win 100. You're trying to win £100 on every bet. which I think is a reasonable and feasible target. I use similar amounts on other value betting strategies that I use, sort of my own value betting strategies. Some of them I bet to win 50, some of them I bet to win 200. So £100 perfectly fine in my experience. If we go into the exchanges, you've got the option there of Betfair, Matchbook and Smarkets. Again, you've got pre-match and live. And for live, you've only got Betfair and Smarkets. Pre-match, make sure you put the commission type in there. If you wanted to change the minimum or max odds, make sure you put that information in there. I'm not too sure why BetDAC isn't in there. It's a shame. It would be nice to have it in, but it's not. However, that is the way it is at the moment. We've got the exchanges in there. I haven't updated the currency on Smarkets because I've not used Smarkets for a little bit because they've asked for a load of ID and I haven't had time. But if I change you can just see how easy it is. I'll just change it from the drop down to GBP, click save, and that's it. Now Smarkets is set as GBP, and if it wasn't in there, I would have had to come in there and change it. Currencies, you may be working with different currencies. I'm using GBP. The base sort of default currency in the software is USD. So you see the currency, USD, the current rate is 1, and then it's got different rates based on other currencies. But I'm betting in GBP and I'm reporting in GBP. So this, as far as I'm aware, it doesn't affect me. I don't need to know what my value or winnings is in Bitcoin. That's fine. Multi-field filters. Now, this is something in future videos which I will sort of delve into. That's for sure. I've seen this. I've used these preset ones already, and they're very useful in the live sure betting market. So what you have here, when you've got live sure betting going on, where if you bet on all, cover all outcomes in an event, then you've got a guaranteed profit. You need sometimes they're just moving far too fast. I mean, some of them are frankly a little bit ridiculous because you might have a tennis match where the actual sure bet is you're betting on the next point, the player to win the next point. I mean, by the time you'd get both of the bookmakers open and put your stakes in and place your bets, the point's probably already been played and won. So on that basis, I tend to turn on slow sports, which is then, I've not even looked in here, but I'm going to assume that then will remove things like tennis. So yeah, tennis isn't in there. So things which count as slow sports are futsal, hockey, and soccer, or football as we know it. So yeah, those are the slow sports. I tend to turn that on. That seems to be quite good. Another little feature which I like is matches on break. I've been turning that on. So then I'm looking for events where basically the game is on a break. So if it's in football, perhaps it's at half time. If it were a tennis match, then it might be when they're changing ends and they're sat down having a banana and a glass of orange juice. So that works quite well. Value bet filters, again, similar things available on there. Pre-match demo, I haven't set any filters in here. I will, as I get time and I look in this in more depth, I will come in here and create some and play around and see if I can find some nice little tweaks just to make the software run even better. Payments, that's your payments to them. This is accounting. This is where you can see what you've made or not made. So far, I've only been using the Sure Betting service, and you can see which bookmakers I've used quite clearly. You can see that I'm in profit at most of them. Made a loss at Boyle Sports, made a loss at Ladbrokes, and made small profits all around the other bookies, really, pretty much, with the exception of Sky Bet. So fairly sort of even spread of results. I'm obviously not too worried about having a loss at Boyle Sports. That's fine. I mean, I can get some winnings there later on. If I look down at the days, you can see the results there broke down by the days that I've done the sure betting. So £16 from 2 bets, £48.90 from 14 bets. Made a loss of £8.89 on 3 bets. I'm not too sure what happened there. I think what it was one of the, because I'm rounding sure bets to £5. I think it was one of those events where, let's say, the outsider may have been a loss of £8.89. However, I'd have had a massive sort of win if the favourite had won the match or it had been a draw. One of those sort of events. You tend to get the losses on the outsiders, where you get all the chance of a loss. So I think that was one of those. I would have to drill into it and have a look. And then some profit there on the next day. So overall, got a profit of £95.21p from 32 bets and £1,500 staked. So all very stress-free, very easy to use. You can go into the stakes. This would only show sort of new stakes at the minute, but if I go to the status, I can add, let's say, all the bets that won, click search. That should then bring a list of all the bets that won. I wish that this was a little bit better displayed. I don't know if I can change maybe in the settings. Not in there. Just having a look. But maybe I could, it'd be nice to see the bookmaker names on here. Maybe you could change the columns. Would be quite handy, I would say. But you can export this information to a CSV if you so wish. The settings here and API information, which I don't do. Anyway, let's go and have a quick look at the software. So if I click Sure Bets, we've got Sure Bets pre-match and Sure Bets live. So let's go pre-match. These are the current ones available at the minute. The orange ones are middles. If we scroll down, we can see that there's darts coming up there. All you do is you click on where it says the sports name, and then that brings the option below. So this one looks a little bit more sort of busy compared to Rebel Betting, but once you get used to it, I think it's superb actually, and I like it's all on one screen. Rebel Betting, you get a very skinny list, and obviously you click it and then you get the pop up and then you can bet from there. I do like the fact it's on one screen. So you click on the sports name, the blue bar. It then puts these stripy lines in it, which makes you sort of know that's the one that's been selected. Over on the right-hand side, it tells you what you need to do. So in this particular match, which would be Joe Cullen versus Lisa Ashton, we are betting total over 1.5 180s, so at Betfair. So we're saying that there's going to be 2 or more 180s at Betfair. And then over at Boyle Sports, we're saying there's going to be under 1.5 180s, so there's going to be 1 or fewer 180s in the match, and that's at Boyle Sports. Again, you can see it's rounding to 5, and the max stake is £100. So we're going to put £75 on over, which would give us a profit of £22.77 if there's 2 or more 180s, and if there's under 2 180s, we'd have £25 at 4.333, and we'd end up with a net profit of £8.32. So if you're wondering sort of where those profits come from, well, if we take the £75 and times it by 0.65, that would give us a profit of £47.77p at Betfair if there's 2 or more 180s. That would give us £47.77p. However, we would lose the bet at Boyle Sports, so we'd lose £25. So £47.77 minus the £25 we lose at Boyle Sports gives us a profit of £22.77p. Fantastic. If we were to bet £25 at Boyle Sports and that were to win, then it's a similar thing. The £25 times the odds would give us a profit of £83.32, and would have £83.32 profit at Boyle Sports. Would then also lose the £75, so £83.32 minus 75 would give us £8.32 profit. So yeah, you can see that these are some fantastic sure bets. Now we can click soccer, and you can see this one's a bit fuller down the right hand side. That's because there's lots of bookmakers that it's available at. Click down, we've got basketball, and you can see the profit here, the revenue. This is the profit depending on either side, and I like the fact that the stakes are split. fairly evenly on that. I'll just see if I can get an example of one where sometimes you get a small negative, just to do with the rounding. Oh, there's one. So that's hockey. We've got 3 outcomes. We're doing Asian handicaps, European handicaps on there, and yeah, if the better Bet365 wins, we make £8 profit. If the better Paddy Power wins, we lose £2.50, and if we win at 32 red, we make £6. I'm perfectly happy and comfortable doing these bets because if you look at it, it generally tends to be the outsider that has the potential for the loss in it, and the odds indicate the probability of something happening. Therefore, with the odds for the outsider being the highest odds, then that means it's got the least chance of happening. So more times out, more often than not, you're going to make a profit from either the Bet365 bet or the 32 red bet, rather than the loss from the Paddy Power bet, because those odds at 2.4 and 2.65 are more likely to happen than the odds at Paddy Power of 6.5. So yeah, you're not going to hit the loss as often as you are the profits. So those are perfectly uncomfortable doing those, which is that, the loss on the other page, that's what that was. Down the left hand side, you can switch from pre-match to live, like so. And now we can see down the left hand side, we've got filters, those multi-filters that we had set up on the settings page. We can have a look at those, but first, let's just have a look at some of the other settings. So if I go pre-match, you can see it's easily gone to pre-match. And let me go back to live. Right, the zoom set to 100% by default. Perhaps that's not good enough for you. So that's 120%. Just gets rid of the sidebar, makes it a little bit more in your face. And there's 110, so a little bit bigger, but you still got the sidebar there. So let's go back to the default of 100. Works well for me. You've got it ticked, sorted, but you can sort it by the percentage, how old the actual sure bet is, what time the event begins, because you can see that one there that begins in 3 seconds, and whether it's middles. Maybe you're only interested in middles, so you want to have those ranked first. Percentage works sort of fine for me, I think, in the majority. Settings, auto updates. That means the list is constantly looking to refresh and bring you new events. You can put the sound on, put sound alerts, and then you'll get a beep. I don't know if you hopefully heard that. So that will keep beeping because we're in a live market. So I'm going to turn that off before it gets too annoying. Pop-ups. You can have pop-ups which are blocked. So I don't usually allow them, but I'm going to put some pop-ups and let's see what happens. Let's see if a pop-up actually comes through. By default, I tend to have pop-ups turned off in Google Chrome and most things, so it may not override. Yeah, I think I probably need to go to my settings, but you get the gist. If you click show pop-ups, you'll start to get pop-ups on there. Number of the arbs on the page, we've got 10. If you want it a bit skinnier, we can change it to 20, and that would appear like you would just end up with a longer list that you can scroll up and down like so. Put it back to 10. Odds type decimal, Hong Kong American fractional, whichever one floats your boat. I work on decimal. The filters, these are the multi-filters that we had available in the dashboard. Slow sports, you can see, as I said, is already ticked. Fast sports is unticked, but I can tick fast sports like so. Matches on a break is ticked as well. So you can remove things as you wish. So I've removed the filters now. So I've now only got matches available that are on a break. So the basketball game is at the end of the third quarter. So this would be an ideal opportunity to get in there and get some bets on. And this is a live match as well. So 45 quid on one side, 55 on the other. You've got £3.50 or £1.75 profit. Only takes a couple of minutes to place these bets, and that's betting to win £100. If we go back to pre-match, you'll see some of the profit opportunities on here tend to be a hell of a lot better. And obviously the beauty of the pre-match, which is where I recommend you start, is a lot slower. You're not rushing against a live tennis match or anything anything a bit bonkers like that. This is the Qatar versus Ecuador World Cup match, which obviously doesn't start for a few days. And on that one, £25 out at BetVictor, £75 out at Smarkets, and we've got a profit there of about £13 no matter who wins the match. Great. Australian women versus Thailand women, again £100 out. You've got a minimum profit there of £10 or possibly £12.50. So 10% return on your money. Easy to do. I'm just going to keep sort of working my way through these over the coming weeks, and then I'll do a full sort of roundup of how I've got on over the month and see what the sort of first month profits are. I've not been churning them out. I've not been going over the top. You can see that by my dashboard. I've basically been, dipping in and out. I've been fitting it around my life and schedule. I've made £100. I've only used it on 4 separate days, and in total I've only done 32 bets, so it's really not very much. And if you think 32 bets, that's not 32 sort of sure bets, as it were, because if I'm betting on a football match and it's home, draw and away, then that counts as 3 bets. So I may have done about 8 or 9, possibly 10 bets 10 sure bets in total, 10 events, making about £9.70 on each one. Call it somewhere around there. That's something I can live with. And if I could ramp that up to maybe doing, I'd like to see if it's feasible and again reasonable to maybe get to the level of doing 5 or 6 per day, aiming to make £10 roughly from each one. Because if I could make £50-60 per day doing the sure bets, do that for a full month, then that'd be a nice sort of bonus at the end of the month. Obviously, go towards something. So that's kind of the target I'm going to do, and see if it's sort of feasible during the review. Remember, if you want to give this a try for free, then make sure you go to gogetburger.co.uk. The link's on the screen. Go to gogetburger.co.uk, and by using that link, you can get a free trial at BetBurger. You can get started for free, no money required, and see how you get on. And feel free to ask any questions in the comments below. Feel free to use the link to visit my written review of this service over at my website, and you can leave comments there, or you can contact me over there if you want to have a private question. And I wish you all the very best luck. I hope you found this video of some use. If you have, please hit the like button. Please consider subscribing. I'll have regular updates on this service, and there'll be more interesting sort of betting service reviews coming up soon. So all the best. Thank you very much for watching, and take care. Bye bye.